Guys, I want to talk about Campbell. It's actually down over 2.5%. Remember, it's a story we've been watching closely as Dan Loeb's Third Point seeks to replace the entire board of directors at Campbell. And as I pointed out a number of times in reporting on this, he had hoped at least to potentially turn one or more of the Durant's family members, who of course together own as much as 41% of the stock. This morning, in a press release, Campbell Soup company announces that those four shareholders, descendants of John Durant, of course the inventor of condensed soup, have independently notified the board that they intend to vote for the current slate of directors at Campbell. We're talking here about Mary Alice Durant Malone, she's on the board. Archibald Van Buren, he's on the board. Charlotte Weber, not on the board, and Bennett Durant's on the board. But they do say they collectively represent about 41% of the shares. So if you're doing the math, and you need 50.1% to replace a director, and it's of those shares voted, and 41% are voting against, well, as we've been saying here for quite some time, it's an uphill battle for Mr. Loeb, at the very least, to replace said directors. We'll see what ISS says. We'll see what Mr. Loeb says. I did put in a call to him. He has not returned it, but I did want to point that out, and it is having an impact on Campbell shares.
Wow. I find that is a mediocre board. And if they don't sell that company, I predict several more quarters of the same. They have a stretched balance sheet. You know that balance sheet is from Hades.
Yeah, they levered themselves up to do a number of transactions.
I'm not surprised.
As you like to say.
They're very ill-advised. I am not surprised one bit that the family is sticking by a course that is wrong, because that's been their game. It's been their game. Remember when Senator Norman Oruska said what is wrong with mediocrity? A lot of mediocre judges. What is wrong with mediocrity? Well, the answer is Dan Loeb was against mediocrity, but they're endorsing it. Did you see when they sacked their CEO on May 17? It's like, hey, whatever. This company is in disarray.
They don't have a CEO, and they are searching for one. Mr. Loeb has been focused on execution as opposed to the idea of selling the company immediately. They've gone back and forth, as you might imagine, about that. Them saying really Loeb only wants to sell the company, and he's offered no new ideas. But 41% against is tough to go in and win.
Not to mention they keep showing up on lists of companies that have taken leverage to what some argue are extremes in a rising rate environment to finance a lot of these things.
And if you look at now they're trying to dismantle some of the actions, like the Bolt House.
They're selling international, they're selling fresh.
It is, look, it's a great American institution, but it made a lot of mistakes in order to be able to grow. And I think they vastly overpaid for the snack company.